Welcome back, RPS scholars. So today we're going to continue our work on surface area and volume of rectangular prisms and cylinders. So your independent work from yesterday was assigned, and here are your solutions. Please make sure you get out your notebook so that you can match your answers from yesterday's work. So here are your solutions. Again, write out the formulas that you needed and make sure you replace your variables in the correct places and solve. Hopefully you have used your Desmos application, and if not, your scientific calculator. So here's your answers. Take a few minutes to look at them. If you look at the Desmos application that's running in the first calculator, this just gives you the answer to number 7 written out, submitted in the Desmos calculator. And then also on the other one, it's going to give me the answer to number 10, which is at the very bottom using your square button. So here's my square button here. And again, just multiply them straight across. So you could have used your a to the b, a to the exponent of b, but we just went ahead and used square since that was a simpler move for us to do number 7. Again, pause the video, take your time to look at your answers, see if you can determine if your answer were all correct, and if you made an error, where was your error, and make that correction. Once you're done checking your work, unpause, and we'll get started again. So today's objective is we will be able to identify vocabulary words related to volume and surface area of rectangular prisms and cylinders. I will also be able to solve word problems for surface area and volume of a rectangular prism and cylinders. So we're going to start with some vocabulary, okay? Just reviewing some of the vocabulary that we have done all week. And we're going to do it in the sense of flashcards. You may want to either have some flashcards or index cards or have your notebook readily available so that you can write the words and the definitions of these ones that may be giving you a little bit more difficulties. We're going to be using this application, so I'm going to go ahead and get this one started for us. And we're going to start here. I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger so we all can see it. And we're going to do a few of these together, and then we're going to go ahead and let you do some on your own once we're done. Okay? These can be found in the link to this can be found in your learning plan for today. So let's try these. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds between each one and see if you get these correct. So this is found by multiplying pi by the radius squared. Multiplying pi by the radius squared. Let's see. Absolutely, the area of a circle. Great job. Our next one. The amount of space occupied by an object. What is the amount of space occupied by an object? Volume. Great. This is a line segment between 2 points of the circle or sphere which passes through the center. Awesome job. The diameter. Volume is measured in blank units. Cubic units. You are doing a fabulous job. A 2D representation of a 3D shape that shows every face. A two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional shape shows every face. Give you a few seconds to think about it. Look through your notes if you need to. Nets. So that one right there are nets. So I'm going to go ahead to our next one. This is the sum of the lengths of all the sides of a polygon expressed in linear units. Expressed in linear units. The perimeter. We didn't talk in detail about the perimeter. However, we do know we need to make sure we understand that from our previous grades. The total area of faces, including bases and curved surfaces of a solid figure. I'm going to read it one more time. The total area of the faces, including the bases and curved surfaces of a solid figure. The surface area. Great. I'm going to do a couple of more, and then I'm going to show you some other things that you can do when you get to doing this on your own. When two geometric figures, angles, rectangles, etc., have the same size and shape, they are called what? Ready? There you go. Congruence. Our final one for right now, a measurement of vertical distance from top to bottom. A measurement of vertical distance from bottom to top. The height. Excellent. So I want to give you a few minutes just to show you some other things that you will be able to do when you do this on your own later or at another time to get the additional practice for those words that may have given you a little bit more difficulty. So I'm going to hit the next button here, but up here where it says the little volume, okay, we can click on here. We can't write on it today. Oh, let me go back. Don't want to write on it because writing will give us a little bit of an issue. So we definitely don't want to write on it. But what we can do here is we can do the shuffle. So if I shuffle them around, the next day can shuffle them for me. If I hit play, options, it will give me the answers to both. So there's some other things we can do here. I can shuffle the cards around and it give me a different way to look at it. As you can see right now, I have them in both, so I can see the definition and the word. Therefore, it's probably a little easier for me to, write those down if I need to get back to them. Okay. And then if I go back here, this just switches it from front to back or both back, keeping it side to side when it's time for me to practice some more of my words. So again, there are some things that you can play in here. But definitely want you to think about that. But if I hit this face, it just tells me what the word sounds like. So if you have some issues with some of the words, that's okay. There you go. And it just gives me the indication. Here we go.
Circumference.
Circumference. Circumference. So as you can see, it's the computer. So it may not give you all of the words perfectly, but it just gives you the definition. And you want to hit one more.
This is the distance around the outside of a circle.
Okay. So you can do those when you like. If you do hit play, it goes a little fast, but if you're trying to time yourself, you don't have to use your hands to actually work through the program. But to me, it goes a little fast, so you might not want to hit the play button. However, you can do that if you like. Okay. All right. So those are your options there. So I appreciate you doing that. So I'm going to come back out here. So you're going to play along a little bit more on your own using the learning plan, and you can link it straight to the learning plan. All right. So we're going to go ahead and finish. Go ahead and get started again. So our next portion is we're going to do some independent practice. So again, some independent practice, and this is going to come from the sheet that's again located in your learning plan for today. So I just wanted to kind of briefly show you what it looks like. It's only 5 questions. So here's our 5-word practical applications of surface area and volume. So this is what we're going to be doing for today. I'm going to do number 1 with you. So I'm going to model what this one looks like, and then you're going to do 2 through 5 on your own, again, using your resources. All right, so here's number 1. Again, you have your formula sheet here. So you might want to, again, if you can't get to it, it is linked. And I try to make sure I place this in most of the lessons. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. And you need to know, of course, as always, make sure you are looking at which formula needs based on those clue words that you can find in the word problem. So the problem from number 1, Lisa wanted to paint her ugly flower bed red. Using the given dimensions, how many square inches will she have to paint? There's a little hints. Always think about your hints. Think about what part needs to be painted. So if I'm thinking about this flower bed, and they did a great job with this picture, what do I know I'm not going to cover? So let's look at this one. All right. All right. So as we read the problem, it indicates that we want to paint the box. So in thinking about the flower box, we know that it is a rectangular prism, and we're looking at painting it, and it's indicated in the problem that we're going to be looking for square inches, so that gave us a helpful hint as well. So we have the length is 22, the width is 8 inches, and the height is 10. Therefore, we want to make sure we write out our formula for surface area, which is 2 times length times width, plus 2 times length times height, plus 2 times width times height. But also, as indicated, we want to make sure that we are looking to use all the correct parts of the formula. Because we're talking about a flower pot, we know we are not going to be painting, or the top of it won't be enclosed. Therefore, that part will not need to be painted. So that's why that first part of the formula is bubbled in, because we only need to paint the bottom. And therefore, we will need to modify the formula. In modifying the formula, I'm only going to be using the bottom of it, so I only have length times width, and then I continue on with the rest of the formula. Now I'm going to replace my variables with its known names at this point. Length is 22, width is 8, and I continue on with my problem. The height is 10, and then I continue on with the rest of my problem. So I want to make sure I insert or replace the variables with their known numbers, and then solve it out as we have done so many times this week. And therefore I have a number of 776 inches squared. All right, so I'm hoping that helps in your understanding of how that problem worked out. So for what you're going to be doing independently, you're going to take your time. You're going to write them out. Take your time. Use your Desmos calculator. Look at your formula sheet. And you're going to do numbers 2 through 5 on your own. And as always, during your next lesson, we're going to go through the answers for each one of those. Okay? So, did we meet our objective for today? I hope we did. I will be able to identify vocabulary words related to geometry, specifically surface area and volume, and I will be able to solve practical word problems for surface area and volume of rectangular prisms and cylinders. Great job. As always, you've had another great learning day. Don't forget to spend about 10 to 15 minutes in your Dreambox accounts, and I will see you again soon.